Hi everyone. I have some bad news to tell you. We have not yet started our D&D campaign, so I don't have anything to tell you regarding that. But don't you worry, my lovely listeners, we are still going to talk about tabletop gaming. So let's get going. So, today we are going to talk about tabletop role-playing games. And what are they, and what kind of games there are, and so on. So first, what is a tabletop role-playing game? Tabletop RPGs are a form of games where there is one person who is leading the game, like as a game master, so to speak. So there is a game master who usually have read the rules of the game, and then the game master has from 1 to 5 players. To be honest, the player count doesn't matter. You can have like over 6 persons playing or just 1 person playing. So the players make characters for themselves. Usually, with a pen and paper, they write down their characteristics and other stuff concerning their character on a character sheet, where there is everything you need to know about your character to play the game. Then, when you start playing tabletop role-playing games, the game master will tell you what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what is your situation at the moment. And then the players will take turns to tell what would they like to do. So, for example, tabletop RPGs are like RPGs that you play on computer or a console, except you can do whatever you like. For example, imagine Skyrim. You're playing Skyrim, right? You have a story, and you have side quests, and you can go almost everywhere you want. Now take that, but you can do anything you want. Of course, if your character is not a spellcaster, you can't cast spells or anything like that, but you have nothing to hold you back. So basically, tabletop RPGs are like RPGs on consoles and PCs, except you are having fun with a group of people. Usually, at least 3 people, 2 players and a game master. So you are having fun with your friends in any genre for the game. You can have fantasy setting or sci-fi setting or any setting you can imagine. And you are having fun with your friends when you play. There are so many games out in the world. Almost everything you can imagine has been made as some kind of RPG. There's Dungeons and Dragons, which is the, if I dare to say, the most popular fantasy setting RPG there is. Then there is sci-fi genre games like Star Wars and Doctor Who. There are more fantasy settings, of course. It's fantasy games, I mean. Everything you can ever imagine. There's even My Little Pony RPG. Yes, you heard right. I haven't tried that, but yes, there is one. I started playing tabletop RPGs when I was like 18 years old. I was living in my hometown, and then suddenly, on a sunny day of summer, I get a phone call from a friend from Helsinki, and he asks, where am I? And I say that I'm in my hometown, and suddenly he says that he's in my hometown too, with a friend that moved to my hometown, and he would like to meet you and get to know you because I know you two could get along. So I went, and our first meeting was on a shooting range. We were shooting with a bow. So we started to talk about everything, literally. And then he mentions that he plays tabletop RPGs. And I was like, oh, damn, I haven't done that, like, never. So we met one day, and he started telling me about tabletop RPGs and what can you do, because I knew nothing about them. And so we played this Finnish fantasy RPG called Praidor, which is amazing. By the way, if you are interested in playing tabletop RPGs, please consider trying Praidor. So, that was my first RPG. At this point, I should tell you that tabletop RPGs work with dice. And you have your character, you have your character sheet, check. You have your game master and your gaming group, check. You are going to have fun, check. And now the magic begins. You are starting somewhere where your game master tells you where you start. And when you want to do something special with your character, or something funny, or something amazing, you tell your game master what you want to do, and your game master says, roll the dice. Roll dexterity check, or roll diplomacy check. So you take the dice, or the die, what the game is using for its system, and you roll the die. And if you succeed, you will do the thing you wanted to do. So for example, you are in a burning building, and you want to do a cool parkour move and jump out of the window from the second floor and have a superhero landing. So your game master will probably ask you to do some kind of acrobatics check. So if you succeed, you jump out of the window of a burning building and you make a badass superhero landing. It might have not sounded so amazing when I talk about it like this. You are listening to my podcast, but I can tell you, it's amazing when you are with your friends and having a laugh when you do something, or amazing situations. So Praidor uses 3d6 system, so you roll 3 6-sided dice. The higher the roll, the better. In Dungeons and Dragons, you roll a 20-sided die, and you try to get a high roll. In Symbarum, which is a Swedish-made tabletop RPG, you roll a 20-sided die and you want to get as low as possible. But yeah, I started playing on that day, and we played Praidor, the Finnish tabletop RPG, and I just loved it. It was so fun to be with friends and just, with a multiplayer, a live multiplayer, so to speak. So I started on that day, and I haven't stopped. I'm 26 at the moment, so a lot of years, and a lot of years yet to come. The other thing, what I like while playing tabletop role-playing games, or when I'm being the dungeon master, or game master, or any other name that title has, is being on character. Like, of course, there are different playing styles. You can talk while playing. For example, my character goes to see if the merchant has some magic potions on sale. Or you can say, as your character, so for example, if you have a small halfling or a gnome as your player character, you could say to your friends like,
"Okay, friends, I would like to go and have a magical potion. Would you like to come with me and buy some for yourself too?"
It doesn't matter as long as you are having fun. So how I like to play tabletop role-playing games is the second option, to talk through your character and with your character's voice, because that teaches me to use different voices when I'm being the dungeon master, because I want to be a voice actor someday, so that helps me, and because it just makes things funnier. Okay guys, I think I can give you a little teaser about our D&D campaign that is coming up. So basically, we are playing in the world of Tal'Dorei in Exandria. the world that Matthew Mercer created for Critical Role. I'm so excited to be the dungeon master for my 3 awesome players, my girlfriend, and 2 of our dearest friends. My girlfriend is playing a tiefling monk, and our friends are playing a dragonborn paladin and a tiefling cleric. The tieflings are twins. The game will be set approximately 20 years after Vox Machina's adventures, if you have seen or listened to Critical Role. So we are using the same universe as Vox Machina, and I hope if you are listening to this podcast and you will listen our D&D adventures, I hope you will have fun and exciting time while listening to our adventures. Our D&D episodes will not be live playing or actual play podcasts. They will be told in a story mode-like style. In every D&D episode, I will tell you what happened in the previous episode and what happened in our last session. I think that was all the information for today about tabletop role-playing games. I hope you got even a little bit of information about role-playing games if you didn't already know about them. And I hope you will get even more interested when we actually start playing D&D with in our campaign. So yeah, next time we will be talking about free time activities, or of course you can suggest a theme to talk about while using Starblooming hashtag on Twitter or in Instagram. Thanks again to Rustoga and SanKarri who provided the awesome musics to my episode. So once again, stay safe my little stars, and Starbloom out. Bye!